All right. I'm taking back my thing. I made a little blog with an emotional little thing. Taking back my rental of a carpet cleaner. Finally cleaned my carpets. Okay. I don't think I've ever used one of those since I've been an adult. I never have carpets in my houses. I think in one apartment I had some carpets way back 25 years ago, something like that. Okay. Talking about my political philosophy. I don't really fit in any categories. I doubt anybody really, except for in terms of through a semi-urge sort of relativism that some people in this category invented of the semi-urge. There's a live and let live idea of like, well, he thinks sort of like this. We'll vote and see what policies. Doesn't really matter. I think mostly, hopefully, I come across as a bit liberal. But I'm not into maximizing liberalism. I mean, if your political philosophy should be named after some principle that you want to maximize, then I have an issue because in a way I don't want to, not in a way. Fundamentally, I'm not into maximizing, I'm into optimizing. Alright, I don't want to maximize liberalism. On the other hand, we could use a little more liberalism in the world today. On the other hand, only in particular parts of liberalism, not just any of it. If liberalism's 1,000 things and we just randomly get 50 of those things, that's not necessarily good. But the things we need, like a stronger infrastructure, I don't know, they come across as liberal. I think conservatives used to be into building state roads and stuff. I don't know what happened to that. Whatever. The thing is, what I really am at heart is something I thought would be called, a rugged individualism. A Tonstoffel believer. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch, someone suspicious of altruism, but I'm not suspicious of kindness to others. I'm suspicious of calling it altruism when you do that. Right? I think that demotivates doing kind things. Doing kind things for others feels good. And obviously it's like orgasms feel good doesn't mean they are good. Well, if you want the species to survive, which a lot of people don't, I guess, then it is a good thing. It goes to it's procreation. Being kind to others is a good thing in the greater picture because, that's how we all survive stronger. We're obviously, social animals in that respect. And so that's the thing. I think we are social animals. We tend to group. We tend to do a lot of the negative things associated with that. Not share our real feelings, be polite, passive-aggressive because we're trying to be polite, but we really have other feelings. All these things. And I like individual ethics. I like being yourself, letting other people be themselves, being interested in people that are different than you. I inherently don't get why people want to be in a group of people like themselves. People say this all the time. Hey, you should be, the segregationists, and even the people that aren't racial segregationists. Everybody always is expressing this. You should be with people that think like you. Or if you don't, if it's family, they say, whatever sort of equivalent things like don't talk, politics and religion with loved ones. And see, to me, I like being around people that are different. I can handle it. I prefer it. I can't really handle people that are just like me, but at this point that doesn't happen probably because my interpretation of if I was in a group and people are just like me is that it's fake, is that it's impossible, that I'm inherently like a fingerprint And when you notice patterns that link you, they have to be shallow. You got to keep looking at that pattern until you find the difference again, you see, and end up with the fingerprint again. So maybe I'm obsessive, affected my politics. But the thing about rugged individualism is that it's kind of like Darwin's theories. It's just got raped by people that really don't see it the way I see it. People using that term, unfortunately, it doesn't apply. That's why I've invented the term for myself, a progressive libertarian. I believe in individual liberties, but I like the ironies that we have things in their opposites, like the discovery that objectivity is really a subset of subjectivity. It's not its opposite. It's a rarefied subset. You know, operationally, in a logical, mathematical system, it can be dealt with as though it's an opposite, but really it's a rarefied subset. Right? Okay. Similarly to that, you got the social urge of human beings, and individuality is not the opposite of that. I used to think it was the opposite. I said down with groups. There's some sad realizations that come as a result of this, but anyway, you know, down with groups. But we're social creatures, and you actually need that. When I moved to the city, I started to see, here's people in the tightest groups, and some of them are afraid to leave the city. They hate the nature. They're very dependent on the group, and yet there's individualistic in a lot of other ways. So they don't know how social-minded they are, but people in the country don't really get how individualistic they are cognitively in a lot of ways. So that's interesting. And it turns out, I think, that individuality is a rarefied form of sociality. That is, it becomes possible to think freely when you have a big tight-knit group, where the tight-knit group is surviving together. That's their tight-knit part. And you find out that's not, you know, it's a huge amount of your philosophy is influenced by your environment and how the economy that you live in functions. And yet there's still a lot of room for free thought. For example, not liking how that economy functions, just from being supported by that economy, whatever kind of economy it is. So the idea of a progressive libertarian is that libertarianism is about freedom, individual freedom. This idea that people should be able to do anything they want within some sort of reason structure that is optimized, right, for individual decision making. Whatever that takes. Okay, I think that takes roads. I think to have individuality, free thinking of the kind that I value, it's important to be able to say, you know what, I'm moving to California. I got enough gas, I got a car, I'm going, boom. And you go from New York to California. That is legit. I was never really in a frame of mind where I was going to do something like that. But the society I want to live in requires that's an option. See? So I could decide not to do it. Things I know I don't want to do, it's important somebody that wants to do them is able to, or else I don't even know I made the individual choice. So we need progress, things that are progressive, and a lot of them, these semi-liberal things, but remember, conservatism was a progressive philosophy at one point. Okay. I gotta return my thing, go to work. Probably make another video on the way to work.